that ass spin.
We were really on, and when we got some of those tech videos together, we did an amazing job together, doing those together. I'm not going to say like, oh, I did everything. You know, he did his work, I did my work. At this point in time, again, it's redundant to talk about the same thing over and over and over. So it's difficult for me, and I've told him this directly, that yeah, there's a few things that he said to me or that happened that I'm not like super happy about. And we're going to get to some of the other stuff at the end. Don't worry. But yeah. He says, I sleep in Jay's bed on the weekends. Now I have to wash the sheets. You know, when everything started to take place, well, let me just say this. Watching the documentary actually was pretty... It bothered me, to be honest. Like, seeing Rich say those things about me again, it got me pissed off. You know, he's here, he's watching. He you know, he knows this. He must know this. Seeing some of the stuff that Rich said about me and seeing how it was handled and stuff, we all, again, yes, I know I'm repeating, and he knows that I'm repeating this, so I'm not happy about that stuff. And that's not something I'm going to just forget. So I want to make one thing clear here, because so many people are asking. Are Rich and I best friends all of a sudden? No. Are Rich and I talking about doing streams together? I think what happened there was, at some point, him and I were saying months ago, let's do some streams together again. Like, let's move on. Months ago, we said these things. He's here. He's watching right now, so we can clear this up. And this is not disrespecting him. This is just my personal preference. I think he might have said today, like, oh, we're going to still do that. But him and I haven't really talked about that for a long time. At least, and I'm being honest, I don't remember mentioning anything of that nature. I think we were going to do a stream together at some point to clear the air. That didn't happen. And then it might have, you guys know, it was very confusing, even for me. So I think today is a good day to basically say that there's no way that I would want to work with Rich, and I don't think he'd want to work with me in terms of videos ever again, because some people were like, are you and Rich going to do videos again? No. I love what I do on here, and this is not a disrespect to him. He can go do whatever he wants. But I do not want to edit for anybody ever again. So that's number one. Number two, him and I had a conversation. So I know people are going to be mad, but him and I had a conversation. I told him that I'm not happy about what he said. He said what he said to me. We don't need to go into details. That doesn't mean I'm not, cordial with the guy. I mean, what people don't understand is this. Him and I known each other since 2010. It's not like just a work relationship. So it was a friendship, then it was a work relationship. That turned sour. That's why on Twitter the last couple of days or a week ago, I made some jokes and I made a comment that I miss the jokes that him and I did. That does not negate everything that happened. So let's just be clear about that. Him and I are not sending flowers to each other and holding hands and fucking baking cakes together. So I want to get that out of the way. I don't know how else to say this, because I said it directly to Rich. I'm sure he's watching still. I'm not happy with what happened. You know, he says that it should have been off the internet. I kind of fucking agree with that. And at the end of the day, when I got hacked, Rich reached out to me directly and was like, what the fuck happened? And he basically said, I had nothing to do with that. So I took that as his statement that he had nothing to do with me being hacked. Now, because we had prior conversations months before that, the reason why he's saying we're quote unquote cool is because you can call it whatever you want to call it. He's using the word cool. I'm using it as we've moved on. It's the same thing in my own head. You can call us cool, you can call us moved on. The point is, I don't want to relive it every fucking day because it's not fun for me to do that. I didn't have fun watching him belittle me and yell at me and fucking say all this nonsense and then all back and forth. It wasn't fun for you guys who watch both of us. But here's the thing. I know I'm bringing it back up and saying that he said these things and blah, blah, blah. Guys, you have to understand it's almost 6 months after the fact. I can't sit here and still hate the guy. Like, I don't hate him, but I'm also not looking to be his friend, if that makes sense. He's just a person that I used to know. We have memories together, and we had a discussion about it, and that's where it stands. I'm not phoning him and saying, let's fucking get together and hold hands. I have no plans to work with him, and there's no plans to stream together. You know, I'm assuming he thinks that there was, but I mean, now I'm saying it out loud, like, and it's no disrespect to him. I just want to move on from it completely because it was a bad time for me, and I just don't want anything to do with it. So that's my statement on that part of the documentary. It's pointless to bring up all the negativity from that documentary. If you want to go see the doc, I'm sure somebody could post it somewhere. You can go watch it. So there's other parts of this that I will explain. So number one, when the computer was sent to me, it was supposed to go to Phil, apparently. At least that's what he said in the video. It came to me. We all know what happened with that situation. So now let me jump forward to the hacking situation and how Rich is involved with it. And I'm just being 100% honest. I haven't talked to Rich about this part. The IP address that was listed on that computer was shown on one of his streams. Did he do it on purpose? I don't think he did. Obviously, I don't think he did, but I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure he'll message me or somebody will say that. But the IP address to that computer was shown around the time when he asked people to get dirt on me. And that still bothers me to this day, obviously. And I'll follow that up with saying that due to the investigation that we did on the PC, without getting into super details, Rich has denied it, and I accept that. Fine, he didn't do it. That's 100% fine. I will say this live for the first time ever. IP address came from New York State. So somebody logged into that computer from a New York State IP address into the PC. Is there a possibility it has something to do with the Dropbox? There's a possibility. There's no way to prove any of this stuff. I'm not saying it was Rich. I'm saying that I have solid 110% proof, and Serial Vapus can come over and look at it himself and show you guys. So I have a second party person. I'll get my roommate to show it. I'll get fucking Justin to show it if we need to show it. But an IP address logged into that computer from New York City. I looked into it. Obviously, I made a police report when I was getting death threats and when my account was hacked. The police department took all information, and including Rich's information. I don't know if they ever contacted him. I have no idea what's going on with that. Due to the fact that it wasn't a lot of money, they basically said to me, like, we can take the report in, and when it comes to getting doxxed or getting a death threat against you, if anything comes through the department, somebody calls in and says, hey, Jay's up in the fucking church with a gun, they're going to call me first. So that's all that did. Now, I will say this as well. I was contacted from New York by the police in New York. And there was conversations between police in New York City and me sitting here in Canada. So that's ongoing as well. So I'm being completely open with you guys when it comes to that situation. The hacking situation is not over by any means. Rich says he had nothing to do with it. I highly believe him. I don't know how he would have anything to do with it. However, there was a stream where my IP address was on the stream. So I don't know what to say about that. I'm just being 100% honest. The time frame doesn't look great because somebody obviously saw it on there and took it off there. That stream, I believe, is not on his page anymore. Again, it was on the background when he was showing Dropbox stuff, I'm assuming.
With you guys again.
And so, let's open the floor to that. Ask me anything. This is the last time I'm going to fucking do it. I swear on Duty Stream's life, on my mom's life, on Murray's life, on Zelda's life. I'm so over this. The only thing I will say at the end of that statement is the fucking PC is still sitting here, and it is going to be absolutely ripped apart down to the fucking kilobytes. Get it? We're going to fucking... That thing is going to be forensically inspected. And when I say forensically inspected, you know what I mean. It's not me turning the computer on like a jackass and going, what happened on this PC? I mean forensically inspected. It takes time to do that, and that's why it's still sitting here. So, let's turn this back on. Let me answer some of these. I appreciate all of these, man, that came through here. So, Hulk Hogan's Giant Taint's been a member for 5 months. Thank you for that, man. How big is your penis? But you know this. You know the answer.
Sexy Coco.
So basically, Kino Casino approached me during the... So this is what happened. Rich made the statements about the Dropbox. Okay? I got that computer in February, as you guys know. Rich, I'm pretty sure Rich knows this story. In February, and I'm not saying this to bash Rich. I just want to be clear about that. You know, he sent me the computer and it had shit ton of his files on it. Right? I didn't go all in those files. Only thing I was worried about is if I was deleting any of the master files from like the RTU assets folders. That's it. You know, there was like photos and music files on his desktop, you know, because he makes music. So at the time, the Dropbox was attached to the desktop as a folder. I opened that folder back in February, and it was just a folder. I didn't know what the fuck it was because I just got the PC. I've been a Mac user forever. You guys know I've edited on that. I've never used Dropbox in my life on PC. We used Google Drive. So I didn't know that you could turn it into an icon on the desktop and just make it look like that. So basically, and I'll say this once again because this is what happened. And I will also say that I told somebody directly after the fact, because when Rich said that his Dropbox was quote unquote hacked and that there was that shit was in there, I know for 100% fact that what he's talking about and what he said was in the Dropbox. Because when I opened it, I was like, what the fuck is this? And I opened like a maximum of 2 files and I realized that it was a backup of what he said it was. We already know what it was. Now, I'm just confirming and I'm saying what was in there. I didn't go through the whole fucking drive. You know, there's a million folders. I'm friends with him at the time. I don't go through it and check it all. I do, however, click another file, and it's essentially, like I said before, this like little porn fucking GIF. You could call it porn. You could call it a sex meme. I know now what it is, but that was in that spot. So there was like 2 of them. And I never thought, oh, this is fucking weird or any of that. So then I told One's 2 cents I asked One's 2 cents, and he'll back me up right now in the chat. How the fuck do I get rid of all of this stuff on the PC? Because he's going to help me clear it out. So I said, oh, there's like stupid shit here, like jokes. And there's like backups of his, like, I guess his I don't know, his ex, iPhone. Ones will come on here and back me up on this one. I said, how do we get rid of this shit? Ones basically was like, I don't know what you're fucking talking about. So I shared my screen with Ones. And I said, what's this? And he's like, oh, that's a Dropbox. And that's when I knew it was a fucking Dropbox. And I was like, well, why is this on the fucking thing? So Rich sent me that with it all connected. So at that point in time, I saw that, and that was what was in there. Now, Rich said that he had that stuff in the Dropbox. I saw like 3 photos of his like ex-wife's daughters, and one video of his ex-wife's daughter making like a YouTube channel. And I was like, I don't fucking know what this is. I know who they are, but I don't give a shit. How do we get rid of all this shit? Now let's flash forward. Everyone's been saying that, oh, he has porn in there. He has all this porn, and he also has it in the same folders. Again, I'm telling you what was in there, and I spoke to the person who actually sent those files to Rich in the first place, which happens to be Google Fish. And if you've watched any of the shows, you know that Google Fish would send those stupid GIFs to all of us. I have them currently on my fucking phone right now because of Google Fish on my Facebook Messenger. So I don't know how they got in the Dropbox in the same folder in the same area. I don't fucking know how that happened. That's where it was. Do I think Rich was like putting him in there and being like, I'll put him in the same folder? No, because Rich also has no fucking clue how to organize jack shit based on his desktops. And everyone knows that. So at the end of the day, I never went in the Dropbox and saw anything fucking weird. Now, I told you once again, that's what was in there. And what was quote unquote weird turned out to be the memes that Google Fish sent. And there was like 2 of them. And I've already talked about that. I talked about it when fucking, well, that's the thing. Kino Casino, they asked me what was there. I told them the same thing. I told them that in the folder, that was there, that was that. And, you know, as we know, the fucking internet carries a story on and on and on and on and on and on, and it turns into something it isn't. So the hacking of the Dropbox, I mean, that's so fucking old news now, and I've made the statement everywhere. No, I never said that to them. I never said that there was a porn folder on the Dropbox. You know, I'm going to say this. You know, those guys like to add a little bit on there and say porn folder. There was no porn folder on that Dropbox. At least that I saw in that section that I went in. So if there was, you know, ask Rich about that. I don't know about that shit. I didn't go through every single fucking file. Ones and I were like, how do we get rid of all of this shit? So again, that's the Dropbox situation. I never saw anything. Remember, also, at the time I went on Casino, I didn't know that those GIFs were from Google Fish. Google Fish told us after the fact because they brought it up on the Casino. So that's how that timeline plays out. So yeah, when I was there, I was like, yeah, there's a weird shit in that folder. But I don't know what the fuck it is. And then Google Fish, as you guys know, Google Fish sends everybody those fucking GIFs. So that's the timeline. Another 2 hours, and then that's it. So what did I feel about Rich taking on the detractors? I'll just speak honestly. I don't think it was smart. I wouldn't have done it, in my opinion. Again, that's it. I don't know what else to say about that. I think that DSP is a fucking loser. I think that he uses everybody that's possible, that's near him, including his wife. I think that he'd use his fucking dying grandmother if he could for content. He's just as bad as Boogie, in my opinion, at this point. So, let me say this to the DSP detractors. I don't hate you guys. I just think the content's, you know, easy to make, which is just my statement on it, because it kind of is. But I don't hate the guys doing that. Anybody can go make a YouTube video and make it about anyone. Fucking go nuts. Have fun with that. Would I tell them that they're wrong or all that shit? I will never get involved with them again. I think Phil is a secret racist loser who doesn't deserve all of the attention the detractors give him. But you got to keep in mind, Phil gives them money to feed, which is fine. You're allowed to do that on YouTube, and it's like a fucking cycle. And you want to talk about like who's supporting DSP the most? In my opinion, the detractors are. That's how that works. And I'm sure some of them would say that they are as well. If you're making 20 videos on fucking DSP a month, that's fucking promotion. Non-stop promotion about some dude who's a fucking loser. I don't understand it. It's just free real estate, as we say in the biz here. Confused says why.
It's your boy Wings of Redemption, and the only detractor channel that's worth watching is Duty Streams.